Hi, I'm Melvin. I want to share a review of a book I've read, which for sure will leave you genuinely satisfied. So come and join me to a bittersweet and endearing moments, and at the same time, apprehend if you're already a grown up or will stay a boy like Peter Pan. I happened to read Peter Pan by Sir James Matthew Barrie. He was a Scottish novelist and playwright, best remembered today as the creator of Peter Pan. He was born and educated in Scotland, but moved to London, where he wrote a number of successful novels and plays. There he met the Llewellyn Davis boys, who inspired him to write about the baby boy who has magical adventures in Kensington Gardens. Then he wrote Peter Pan, or the boy who wouldn't grow up, a fairy play about an ageless boy and an ordinary girl named Wendy, who have adventures in a fantasy setting of Neverland. Although he continued to write successfully, Peter Pan overshadowed his other work and is credited with popularizing the then uncommon name Wendy. Barry unofficially adopted the Davis boys following the deaths of their parents. He gave the rights to the Peter Pan works to Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children in London, which continues to benefit from them. The story goes this way. One night, Peter flew into the nursery of the darling children while looking for a shadow. There, he met Wendy, John, and Michael, and then told them about Neverland. As Peter explains to Wendy, he ran away to Neverland because he says, I want always to be a little boy and to have fun. The darlings decided to go with him to Neverland, so Wendy can be a mother to the lost boys, a gang of boys who live with Peter. Tinkerbell, Peter's best friend and who happens to be a fairy, sprinkles them with pixie dust so they can fly to Neverland. Throughout the story, it is clear that Peter is very full of himself and fearless. As he says, to die would be an awfully big adventure. He has many adventures with the darling children, including the trip to the Mermaid's Lagoon, where he, where he rescues Tiger Lily, the Indian princess. However, most of the plot centers around Peter's nemesis, Captain Hook, a pirate who lost his hands in a duel with Peter, who then fed it to a crocodile. Captain Hook seeks revenge on Peter and the Lost Boys. At first, he tries to poison them by leaving a rich, damp cake outside of their underground home, but Wendy stops the boys from eating it. Captain Hook then kidnaps Wendy and the boys while poisoning Peter's medicine. Tinkerbell drinks it instead to save Peter, who then saves Tinkerbell by clapping. Peter sneaks aboard the Jolly Roger, Captain Hook's ship, and rescues Wendy and the boys. He and Captain Hook engaged in another battle that Peter won. Peter kicked Captain Hook off the ship and he fell into the jaws of the crocodile that ate his hand. Wendy then remembers her parents at home and decides she and the boys need to return to London. Peter sails the ship back to the Darling's house and Mrs. Darling tries to adopt him, but he refuses. Peter promises Wendy he will return to visit her every spring and then flies back to Neverland. I enjoyed this book because it is full of surprising and disturbing WTF moments. Yes, there were moments of weirdness, but I enjoyed reading it. Tinkerbell warmed my heart. My fondness for her derives from several factors. Her mischievous personality and her fierce loyalty to Peter Pan. I have always had a fondness for fairies, so don't even bother telling me that they are not real, because I simply won't believe you. There's a little bit of Peter Pan in all of us. Yes, eventually, we may have to leave Neverland, but we will always remember. As I quoted, children cannot always remain children. They have to grow up, and all of them know it. There is always one exception, and you will soon come across that one. Sentimental, magnificent, emergent, inspiring, and a real page turner. I bet you should also read Peter Pan. All the world is made of fate, trust, and pixie dust.